And this is what I do to help give back to the author community of folks that and the reason why I do these kinds of open Q&A is because there's a lot of people that are taken advantage of every single day as they're just trying to learn about self-publishing. So my name is April Cox. As I mentioned, I am here every Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern, and you are welcome to drop in, ask me anything about self-publishing, and I'll be here for the next hour for open Q&A. If you are joining me on YouTube and you're seeing this and you want to come and join us live, you can access the live Zoom with us by going to aprilcox.com/events. That's EVENTS. Again, April Cox, and we are live with answering your self-publishing questions. So I want to start with my friend Rob Gibbons. It's been a while, my dear, since you and I have been together, and it was so nice to hear from you. And I thought this would be a good way to get some questions answered for you quickly. So why don't you go ahead and just talk a little bit and maybe introduce yourself and your friend, and how can I help you today with your self-publishing question?
Sure. This is Alia Reznikova. She's a escapee from the terrible situation in Ukraine. Didn't know much English, but has learned a great deal and just had her book published as an ebook. We had some questions, though, about doing a softcover book, and they're all related. Um, for easier pronunciation of her name, we changed it to Aleftina instead of what looks like Aleftina. But now
Okay.
we have a question. When you have a pen name and you're signing up with Bowker, do you give them your real name or the author name?
So actually, it's both. When you go
Okay.
to the account setup on Boker, you want to put your real name and address and sign up for the account with your email address. However, when you add a book, when you purchase your ISBNs and you assign the title of your book, the author name that you'll use there for that book title will be the pen name of the author.
Okay. We were going back and forth and we didn't need an ISBN. That was our understanding for the ebook on Amazon.
Mhm.
But so that she could have greater distribution, we want to put an ISBN on the paperback.
Yes, yes, I
And we
agree.
know there are three things we could have: the ISBN, the
There
barcode,
already.
and a price. Is there one of those especially we should have, or all three important, or just two out of the three?
There are a number of people that recommend putting a barcode on the back. For example, when Ingram Spark did a webinar and I attended that, they talked about the fact that there are a number of bookstores that won't bring your book in if it doesn't have a barcode. And they named Barnes and Noble as one. Now, I do have some authors that say, hey, I work with Barnes and Noble. They bring my books in. I don't have a price on the back of my book. You always need the barcode, but you don't always have to put a price on the back. So
Okay.
there's pros and cons to both. If you don't list the price, so if the bookstore says, sorry, we're not taking it in because it doesn't have a price, then that's could be a lost opportunity. But if, as happens regularly, if prices change, and for example, Amazon prices are going up, Ingram also is starting to announce that they're going to be raising prices as well. So if you have to go back and then change your prices, if you haven't put your price on the barcode, you don't have to regenerate the cover. However, if you have, you need to go and have your designer, or just, if you've got a tool that allows you to edit your PDF, you can generate the new barcode and put the new barcode on your cover, re-upload it, and then go through that approval process again. So there's pros and cons. I always recommend putting it on, putting the price on there, but just make sure that you're leaving yourself so that if prices do go up, that you're making at least a few dollars on the revenue or the royalty for your book, so that you're not going to be in the negative if prices tweak or change a bit.
For a 160 page, 170 page nonfiction book, is there a big difference between saying 7.95 and 9.95?
And it's a paperback.
Yeah,
I would do,
large
if
size.
it were me, I would do 13.99.
Really?
Yeah.
Why is that?
because paperback books, first of all, if you price it too low, people can look at that and think, oh, it's a low quality book. It's not the quality of some of the others. So normally I would start by doing some pricing reviews of other competitor books in that niche. And don't be the lowest, but don't be the highest. Be somewhere in the middle. So $12.99 and $13.99 is what we do with paperbacks for children's books, and that's just a very small size book. So if this is it's a nonfiction, is that right? That she's
Yes.
writing. So
It's a
I
book
think
for Western men, how to meet Eastern European women.
okay, well that's cool.
Small niche,
That's cool. Well, you'd be surprised, right?
but the
With
only one, yes.
people looking for great relationships and also wanting to connect with someone and getting them out of those experiences that currently are being challenged with right now. So I think that there's probably a good niche for that. And I don't know how many competitor books have you done any kind of analysis of the competitors out there for your story?
It appears none on that particular geographic region.
Okay. So um, I would say the least I would do is $12.99
Okay.
because it is going to be niche. I think people will pay, and I would probably put it at $13.99 if it were me. And I think that it'll sell at that all day. And it's not like you're going to have a huge royalty per book, but maybe between $5 and $6. So if you leave it at that $13.99 price, it should be good.
Final question. I think this is applicable to many of the people also watching. Um, do you have a boilerplate sentence that you recommend authors put in their books? And if so, where? That would say something to the effect of, to order additional copies of this book or to communicate with the author, please email to. Should she set up a separate Gmail address that's only
Hmm.
for the book?
She could. What does she have a website yet?
No.
So I would recommend a static website, we can, if you hang out with me a little bit longer and we go through and people don't have too many questions, right? We'll go through the regular questions. I'm happy to jump in and show you a new tool that's AI generated that can easily generate a website in a matter of like 10 minutes. It's crazy. So I would
What's the name of
generate,
that?
it's called Gamma,
Oh,
Gamma,
yes. I just
Gamma,
signed up 2 weeks ago to Gamma. Yes.
Gamma.app. So
Yes.
I was using Gamma for just the presentations because it was doing a great job with presentations. But I'll just do a quick share on what it's done for one of the authors I worked with. This was generated in just a little over 10 minutes. So here is, can you see my screen here?
Yes.
If I just look, well, I'll scroll through here, but we actually purchased a domain name. So Wonderlens Books, if I put it here, wonderlensbooks.com, this is the website that was generated through Gamma. And we're still have a couple things we want to do with it, but here is the overview and then about the author. Then we've got books by Anne. These are some of this is an illustration sample that we pulled together. Praise for Anne's work. So, what readers are saying. So, and it did all of this. I just kind of explained the type of book she was writing
Hmm.
and then said, generate the website. It brought us a nice outline. We tweaked it a little and then clicked generate and it put this whole thing together. It's great. The only thing that I want to do, when I was speaking with Anne, I told her, let's go through and integrate a mailing list like MailChimp or MailerLite, just so that when people are signing up, that it will go over to her mailing list. And for right now, she has a Kickstarter running. So we also want to just change the links on some of these. But other than that, I mean, I think this is great for a 10-minute website. And I would say I would just send people to your website, which is where you're going to do your branding. It's where you'll have that professional presence with the book cover, nice 3D rendering of the book cover can, give you that professional look and feel that people are going to want when they're engaging with the author.
I see phrases like a single page website,
It's
but we
exactly
looked at
right.
about 5 or 6 screens there. So is that a 5 or 6 page website?
It's just one scrolling page
Ah,
that it generated. I'm sure you can add, additional pages, and it does have a links that if they click on what they want to look at, like events, and then it goes to that section of the web page.
do you have any other questions?
So it's quite nice. I would drive people here, and then with regard to email addresses, if you want to use just a personal email address, like one that you create for Gmail, that's fine. But if you want to up level your branding and be a more professional, then wonderlensbooks.com, we could have Anne at wonderlensbooks.com. Now that is more social proof. It is a more professional website and email address. So I would try to do that if once you've got your domain name, pay the $5 or $6 a month so that you can create a professional looking email that is specific for your books and your business.
Okay, last question based on that. If you take a name like that, do you have to set it up as a business LLC sort of thing, or can you just make up a name, Wonderland Books, and
Yeah.
that's
Yeah, you
your
can
publisher?
you can definitely just make it up and wait until you're ready to if you're ready to do an LLC. It just remember that when we are selling books, it does become income. So you do have to report the income, but you would be reporting it if you don't have a business set up or EIN number or whatever. It would just be reported as personal income, or you would be a sole proprietor. Um, the LLC comes in when you decide you want to protect, you've got some personal assets you want to protect, and you want to make sure that if somebody sues you for something, that you're not going to lose, access to, say, home equity and things like that, that you would have in your personal life that you wouldn't want to be impacted by your professional business.
And in the case of that Wonderlands, does that then mean that Amazon or Barnes and Noble or whatever will always make the checkout to that rather than the author's name?
So the Wonder Lens, remember, we were just looking at a website.
Yes.
So when she registers on Amazon for her KDP account, and when she registers on Ingram for that account, if she decides to use Wonderlens as her business name, then she would register it that way with it being an LLC. If she just wants to refer to Wonderlens Books as kind of a, like doing business as, that's okay too. You don't have to have it as an LLC, or you don't have to have an EIN number to use what we call an impression. So it's really your publishing company, or how you refer to your publishing company. And so it is good to, when you get to that level where you're saying, hey, this is a business, I want to treat it as such, it is better to protect yourself and get that LLC, or you can still be a sole proprietor and have less complexity of filing for things and year end annual reports and things like that, if you just keep it simple with being a sole proprietor.
Well, more specifically, if those companies are paying to, say, Wonderlands as the
Mhm.
example, and you're just using that as a mythical phrase, you couldn't open a bank account, and then you wouldn't be able to, there'd be no place for Amazon or whatever to send a check to Wonderlands.
So when you set up your KDP account, it's going to ask you to connect with your business. So if you open it, your account with KDP as a personal account, not an with an EIN number and business account, then you're going to point it to the bank that you want the money to be auto deposited into.
And
So
it would go
either
into your
way, you're
name
deciding. Yeah.
and your
Yep.
personal name.
Yep. And if you
Okay.
want, to have that professional business presence, then the steps that are typically taken is you open an you create an EIN, which is free through us.gov. Then you move to go in and register with your state where you live and let them know the name of your business so that you can figure out what it is. And each state has little different requirements, but you've got to register with the state so that they know that you are doing business under a specific name. So you're reserving your name, you're getting that whatever tax
Here we're
certificate.
getting into the weeds, though, because a non-citizen can't have a business in America.
Oh, well, okay. Got it. Got it.
So we
So
didn't
then
know
don't
what
worry
to
about
do.
any of that. Just leave it as in her personal name as a
Okay.
sole proprietor. She'll still be paying taxes though, right?
Right. Right.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Thank you
Yeah.
very much for
So
that.
nothing more than that to worry about. And when you're ready and you need some help setting up the KDP, just let me know and we'll work, and you're always welcome to come back here as you're working through things. I'd also like to gift to gift you a scholarship for a mastermind membership, which will allow you to get a bunch of free support from me and attend open office hours, help setting up your KDP listing. My gift to you, welcome. I'm grateful that you're here and you're safe, and I'm happy to help you and give you that scholarship.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay. All right, so let me open up for more questions. If anyone has a question that's here on Zoom with me, feel free to raise your hand or post it in the chat. I'll also check on YouTube as well. Okay. So let me see. And I actually have a couple of messages and things that were sent to me that I can also do some Q&A about. And I've got my Facebook group. It's called Learn to Self-Publish with April Cox. And there were a number of questions there that I didn't have a chance to answer. So I thought I would bring those over today as well. Let's see, any questions? Ask me here. For those of you that are here with me also, I have a little surprise. I'm going to do a little show and tell about some of the new things that Midjourney has introduced, which is allowing us to animate images, maybe our children's book images, or create some cool animations that it's very, very simple. And maybe it's just simple for a geek like me, but I'm going to do a little show and tell. And I'm happy to walk through that if there's interest in doing that. Go ahead, Debbie.
On an audiobook, we need to also do a copyright on that and have a contract with whoever's doing the audio.
So audiobooks now, this is for your chapter book, right? Your middle grade chapter book. So remember that the words in your book have already been received a copyright. So you own the words are yours. When you register to create, whether you're using ACX or something else, like Spotify and different places like that. So you're going to have somebody reading your words that already have a copyright. So there's two different options. Number one, you don't have to have a special copyright for the audio because, again, you own the words, they're yours. But you have to decide, do you want to be the one reading your story and it's your voice you're recording, or do you want to engage with a voiceover artist to read your book and they record their voice, you pay for their services, and it's a work for hire. So you would then own the recordings that they provide for you. There are places like Findaway Voices, which is a website you can go on and you can list the project that you have, and people that are already registered on there as voiceover artists will submit like a short sample of them reading. So you get their voice and you can choose who you want. There are also sites like Fiverr, which is where I found my first voiceover artist. I didn't know, anything more except Fiverr. So that's where I started. I was very lucky that I got a great voiceover artist to read my first book. But you can also, I've also had authors who go into their closet with their cell phone and just record the closet has, lots of ways of absorbing the echo. So because it's, you got lots of clothing around, it absorbs the echo. And all you need to do is record one chapter at a time. So what I would say is read, the chapter one. Each one would be its own separate recording. And there are also a couple of other things you need to read. One is a little intro of, like, maybe it's your introduction into the book. So that's before chapter one. So you'd read a little bit of that. And then the outro means, thank you for reading. Go to my website at such and such. So the goodbye message. And there's one other, which would be a sample, because when you go to Amazon and you find an audiobook, there's always a little play button where you could play a sample of the audiobook. And so record that separately. And then you're uploading the recordings into what you want to submit for your audiobook. I would say, unless you are really good at editing audio, I would just record them and then send them to an audio editor. And I do have, like, Crestia, who does my video and audiobook editing. I just send things to her. She up levels the quality of the audio and then saves the files exactly the way I need them. And then I'm able to log into the ACX platform, which is what I use to upload my audiobooks. And it is with Amazon. So you just go to acx.com, sign up for an account, upload the audiobook, and then it takes a little bit of time going back and forth for approval. And then it will go ahead and link it with your ebook and your paperback and all of that. Some people, speaking of audiobooks, some people have started to see on their KDP account an audiobook ability to click and add an audiobook to their listing right on KDP. And if you see that is, it's kind of like, it started as a beta. I guess now it's starting to roll out. But you can identify an AI voice that will read your audiobook. And so it's a little different than you submitting things yourself. But the AI voices are actually pretty good. And if you want to check out one that has been done, there is a book called 90, which is one of my authors wrote that with her husband. And it's about the number 90, which was his draft number, and, basically getting drafted. And so it's a historical memoir about his time during the Vietnam era. So the number 90, if you go there and you actually just listen to a sample, that sample is an AI generated voice from Amazon, and it's completely free to generate. If you see it in your KDP account as available for your book, then you can generate it for free. You may decide it's not the best quality and you want to do better, but I don't have that, unfortunately, in my KDP account. It hasn't been rolled out to me yet. Have you seen that, Debbie, on your side when you log into KDP?
I think I did. I'm pretty sure I did. I saw it someplace.
Yeah. So if it's there, then they'll automatically just allow you to move it forward. You choose your voice and everything, and then it's a very simple process. I'm happy to do it with you if you need some help.
And would KDP, could I take it off there and use it someplace else?
No, I think you'd have to look at the terms of service, but I'm just going to assume no when it comes to Amazon, that it stays in their ecosystem.
Yeah.
So if you wanted to do your own, create your own, then yes, you could. And it's kind of like KDP Select, where Even if you're going to ACX, you have to decide, do you want to be specifically exclusive with Amazon, or do you want to go wide with your audiobook, which might be a different path for you to take versus just going and taking what Amazon's going to give you for free.
Okay.
Okay. Awesome. But your book would be a great candidate for the audiobook. I think it would be wonderful.
Yeah, I think that's what I want to do.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Very good. All right. Let me go into my Facebook group and see what we've got there. I'm going to post a link. For those of you who have not joined my Facebook group, this is monitored by myself and my team. So we have a handful of people besides me that are in there answering questions. And I'm going to also post it here on on YouTube, so that if you want to go and join the Facebook group, it's free. It's something that, again, is my opportunity to give back to the author community and try to help you make your way through the self-publishing process. So let me see. There was a question in here about whether or not the book should be in expanded distribution. So when you are publishing a book through KDP, there's two options. Either you're going to distribute through Amazon, which is the expanded distribution. That's Amazon pushing your book out to other sites. Or you can elect not to do that, which is what I recommend. And my preference is to use Ingram Spark if you are going to want your book distributed. Number one, they have a much greater reach. There's something like 44,000 different places that will have access to your book, including Barnes & Noble, Target, Walmart, libraries, bookstores. They will have access to be able to order your book, and it will appear on websites like, again, Target, Walmart, Books A Million, all kinds of different places. Yes, Amazon will do the same, push it out. It's less of a reach, but also the thing about Amazon is that they're, places like bookstores and libraries are very picky about working with Amazon, right? Because Amazon is the evil big brother that puts so many of them out of business. So many people just won't order from Amazon. So my recommendation, and what I do myself, is I do not use Amazon for distribution. I use it to list my books, but for expanded distribution, I leave that unchecked, and I go to Ingram Spark and make sure to add the titles there, both paperback and hardcover. That way, when it pushes things out to Barnes & Noble and other sites, the individuals that find your book there will have the ability to purchase either the paperback or hardcover instead of just the hardcover. So that's the approach that I usually take. Debbie, did you have a question about that?
You answered it.
Okay.
Thank you.
So let's see. Just scroll through here. Lots of new book launches, and I'm so grateful to see folks posting and supporting one another through that Facebook group. Let me see comments under this one. All right, so we had some questions about launch teams, and Gal says, I have yet to create a formal launch team and would love to hear more about how it works. How do you get support? And then there's a bunch of other questions going back and forth on this thread. So it's a hot topic. I would say I'll just talk about what I typically do. A launch team is a group of individuals who have raised their hand and said, yes, I am willing to be part of your team. That means, for me, what I usually tell them is, number one, you're going to purchase my ebook for 99 cents. when I launch the ebook. You're going to get early copies of my book. And as a thank you for being part of my launch team, I'm going to give you some discounts on my print books. So, but what they're supposed to do as part of your launch team is help you get sales, meaning buy the 99-cent ebook. Once the book launches, it's no longer, the ebook is no longer on pre-order, then they need to go in and post a review. Like those are the things that are the most important. The sale of the 99-cent ebook. And some people tell me, April, I just do free ebooks for my launch team. That's wonderful. You can certainly do that. And that's what I did when I first started. However, the downfall of that is that you are not getting sales. You're giving away books. So if you tweak that and change the approach to ask your launch team to buy a 99-cent ebook, that counts as a sale. My target number of people on a launch team is 100. And if only half of them follow through and do what we're asking them to, then you still have 50 sales in this first week or two that your book is on pre-order, which will get you to a #1 new release. Also, very likely a #1 bestseller if you've done a good job finding the right categories, doing a good job with your keywords so that you get some organic results in searches as well. So you get that spending gets you the charge of 99 cents will get you to a bestseller. The other thing is that the reviews, once your ebook is launched, and like I said, if only half of them follow through and give you a review, then that's 50 people, 50 reviews, and your print book hasn't even launched yet. Because they're linked up together, your ebook, your print book, maybe an audiobook, whatever you're selling, then they see that the print books are coming, and also those print books inherit the reviews that were given to the ebook. So that's the approach that I take. I also, thank my launch team. It is something that I gather. I invite my email list and say, "Hey, I'm getting ready to launch a new book. Would anybody be interested in serving on the launch team?" I may also post to socials, to my website if that's an option. I might reach out to other people that I've supported, other authors who have complimentary books, and ask, or maybe affiliates. Maybe I'm asking reviewers that are influencers on social media if they would be interested in receiving a review copy, and I'll give them an extra to give away in their community. If that's something that they are interested in, maybe you have a relationship with that person, then that can also help. You can take those reviews and continue to get more social proof as well. So I hope that helps. Any follow up or question around launch teams? Let me just go through this thread here. How soon before you publish do you begin assembling your launch team? My recommendation would be that I would say 6 weeks before you start introducing the idea that you're going to be you're creating a launch team coming soon. You're going to have an opportunity to serve on my launch team, more info to come, and then dropping those hints, maybe sharing things about your characters or about your book, quotes from the book, and build people up. But normally 3 weeks before, I'm inviting people for the launch team and giving them the dates. Like, this date is when I'm going to need you to purchase the 99-cent ebook. This date, I'm going to ask you to do a review. And then this date, we're going to celebrate. And I'm going to offer, you'll get your special discounts on the print books as well. So it's all about trying to drive more information, more knowledge of your book out there, So if your launch team is willing to share it on social media, wonderful. Give them some great graphics that they can use. If they're willing to do a little review or read aloud and post the video for you, that's absolutely fantastic. People will see a video review and that will count more. And then as you become that bestseller, now as people scroll through your listing, they're going to see a bestseller badge, right? Those things are all an important part of launching a book well. So I would say, give yourself that 6-week period, but at least the 2 weeks before, you want to be getting people signing up and aware of exactly when and what is expected for them to participate in the group. Someone says, when creating a request for a launch team, are the components basically posts with a Google Drive and then a form for a landing page? Yeah, I mean, it can be as simple as a Google Sheet or a Google form that you just collect their email. You may want to ask them some questions like, do you have kids in this age group? Anything that you need to collect there, you can collect it on the form. You can also use your mailing list on your website. And maybe if they say, yes, they want to go sign up, maybe they're going to a form on your website, and then it automatically adds them to a mailing list that's specific for your launch team. So depending on your technology stack, what you're using, you'll make it fit, but it can be something very rudimentary, very simple, like a Google form. Okay. What kind of incentives are okay to offer for your launch team? So my recommendation is don't make promises like, if you give me a review, then you're going to get this incentive, meaning a discount on a book or a free book or going into a raffle for a book only for people that reviewed your book. Amazon's okay with you having a launch team. It's okay with you asking for reviews. What it's not okay is with you offering stuff only to people who follow through and give you a review. So don't do that, but you can offer. I've seen some authors that will print some swag, T-shirts, signed books, stickers, different things, and then they just celebrate with their crew, and they pull names. They might even raffle a gift card as a thank you for the launch team once everything is done. I like to also let them know, hey, yes, you're going to spend 99 cents on my ebook, and I need you to pre-order that, but I'm going to give you a coupon, and everybody gets it. Everybody that's part of my launch team gets a coupon for $5 off the print book. So whether they want to purchase the paperback or they want to purchase the hardcover, I'm sending them to purchase it directly through Ingram, and I'm setting up a special link, which Ingram does offer. And that's something you can do when you're doing print on demand with Ingram, or you can give them a discount for a book that they purchase from your website as well. Okay, let's see. What tips and tricks would you recommend to get people to sign up for your launch team? I would say that it's really important for you to share your journey. Don't just ask people to support you for something that they know nothing about. If you've not been there in other Facebook communities, or you haven't reached out and shared your journey on social media, then it's very hard to just show up and say, hey, my name is April. I've got this new book. Can you please be part of my launch team? You want to build relationships. People are happy to follow your journey. They want to hear about you over a period of time before you start asking them to do something for you. So just give yourself a chance, and don't make the marketing and doing this a last ditch effort or an afterthought. Marketing is every single day doing a little something to help others know what you're doing and know about the book that you're releasing. So that's really all marketing is getting the word out about what you're doing and helping people identify whether or not it's going to be something that they might appreciate. So it doesn't have to be salesy, but you do need to work hard at building up to it, and not, don't do it over a 3-day period and expect or call it a flop because you didn't get people to sign up. It does take time to build that list of friendships and people that can serve with you and serve on other people's launch teams, other authors that have new books that are going out. Maybe you volunteer. Hey, I'll be on your launch team. I'd like to see how it works. And then when it's your turn to launch, maybe that author will reciprocate and be a part of your launch team as well. Okay. Ideas to build excitement. I have my book available in all formats. I also plan to have supplemental materials to offer. Would you suggest doing teasers from the book prior to launching? So the answer is absolutely. Yes, make sure that people have ways of knowing what's coming. Give them sneak peeks, behind the scenes peeks. Maybe go live on video and let people know who you are. And my advice is just to be authentic. And yes, you have to step outside your comfort zone, but it does get easier. So push yourself a little bit outside there and people will respond. That's been my experience anyway. This individual says, I'm an overthinker, so I could keep thinking things for a long time. That's why I have a bunch of supplemental books out there already just to practice. Yes. Once you start stepping forward and taking those baby steps, every single step forward is going to get that much easier with future books. So definitely continue to push yourself, or maybe get a buddy whose book is launching around the same time and challenge each other. I have a current work group that we just started. This was our first week. For 12 weeks long, we have about a dozen people, some in the morning, afternoon session, some in the evening session. And we are definitely not going to have any of them launching to crickets, because they are in a group together where we're supporting and going through step by step the whole publishing process together. They'll have me and my mailing list, my socials, as well as other students that are there with them sharing in this opportunity. So if you can join a community of like-minded people, whether it's other authors or people who care about the topic you're writing about. So if, for example, my upcoming book that I'm working on is about helping kids understand and process the emotions when they lose a loved one. So there are lots of Facebook groups and communities that, speak about death, or maybe there's parenting groups and things like that I might say, let me introduce myself. Here's who I am. And I write children's books and would love to connect with people that have kids around this age group and are looking for ways to talk to them about a loss of somebody that they care about. That's what I'm kind of working towards. Would love to get some connections of people who fit this target audience for me. And you'd be surprised how many people start engaging with you at that point. Maybe they go in and fill out a survey. Maybe they raise their hand or click follow right away, and you're able to ask them questions, encourage them to be part of your work group or your launch team. Okay. I hope that was helpful. What do we have? Let's see. Coach Alice says, I've published my ebook on Amazon, but I want to publish my book on Ingram Spark or Lulu. Do you have a preference? Would you purchase one of their ISBNs or buy your own? Great questions, Coach Alice. And I'm so happy that you're here with us today. So my recommendation is, if you are going to work with, outside of your Amazon for that expanded distribution, then Lulu is great if you need special formatting. For example, hold on, let me grab, this is my workbook that I use in my course with the authors, my work group. So it has special coil bound. So I do have it done through Lulu because it's not available print on demand through any other platform other than Lulu that I was aware of that does also integrate with my website. And I could also publish it from there onto Amazon, and I probably will do that. But for regular distribution, my recommendation is Ingram Spark. They have, like I said, 44,000 plus locations, and it will help you to get the word out. It's pretty easy to use. It has its little quirks, just like any other, but it also is going to push your book onto Amazon, onto all of those other places, and it will link them and integrate with what you're doing. For my children's book authors, we can't do a hardcover on KDP on Amazon. Even if all we cared about was Amazon, we can't do it. They only allow hardcovers for limited sizes, and you have to have at least 75 pages. So if you're doing a picture book, we're not able to do it on Amazon unless they change that policy. So what I always recommend is we do the ebook and the paperback on Amazon. Then we do hardcover and paperback on Ingram. It will all, gives all of that distribution. Your hardcover still gets pushed onto Amazon, and it links up so that everybody that looks on Amazon would think it's coming from Amazon, but it's actually being fulfilled through Ingram. So I hope that helps. With regard to the YouTube, I'm sorry, the ISBNs. I just saw your question, Coach Alice. Will this recording be on your YouTube page? Yes. Just if you go onto YouTube, you'll see it on the live. So just look at the live tab, and it's going to be there. And eventually, I'll take it and have my editor go through it and then post it to the general page as well. But yeah, it's being recorded right now, streamed live onto YouTube. So let's talk about ISBNs. You mentioned, and when Rod was here, he also talked about the fact that he was having or he was not purchasing an ISBN for his ebook because they were just interested in getting it on Amazon. That's perfectly fine. If you think you might want to also have your ebook on places like Apple Books, Google Books, right? You want to go what we call go wide. Then if you accept a free ISBN from Amazon, then you can't use that free ISBN in those other places. So then you're asking them to give you free ISBNs, and you have different numbers. So I usually create my ISBN. I purchase the ISBNs from Boker. That's in the US. I'm in the US, so it's myidentifiers.com, and I get an ebook ISBN, which I use in all of those places. I also purchase a paperback ISBN and a hardcover ISBN. If you're also doing audiobooks, then the audiobook also needs an ISBN. And for me, I always do a coloring book with each book that I release. So that's 5 ISBNs for each one of my books. So don't just buy one at a time. Actually go out there and maybe buy a block of 10 or more of the ISBNs. So that way you have everything that you need as your business continues to grow. Okay, Alice, is that helpful? Any other follow-on questions for you? Okay.
Thank you. Thank you, April. Sorry
Welcome.
about the delay. Yes, this is very helpful. Thank you so much.
Good. So I am just scrolling through here. I think I have time for one more question before we say goodbye to our friends on YouTube. Victoria, did you have any question for me?
No, not today. I just haven't been around in a while, and I just wanted to come back and
I've missed
thank
you.
everybody. Thank
I've
you.
missed you. You're welcome to come back to the evening session on the work group if you'd like. Just let me
I
know.
know you had invited me. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah. Whenever, if you want to help support other authors and continue to use it as an opportunity to work on your next book, that would be wonderful. We'd love to have you.
Thank you.
All right. Let me see. I don't see anything else. Oh, actually, I do have one thing that I'm just going to tease you guys with. And then I'm going to go into the how-to in my next session, which is my mastermind drop-in session that's coming at the top of the hour. So I've got 2 minutes. I'm just going to share a little bit here. This is just a little something that I put together. This is Midjourney. They started rolling out animation now. So you can write a prompt and animate a video very easily. So I'm going to be working through that with my mastermind group. We'll probably play around with that a little bit. But if you are interested in learning, I'll give you the highlights of what I've been doing. So I do have Midjourney. I'm just going to open that up for a second. I'm also going to open up Canva because I created a video that I think is really cool, and it talks about the self-publishing process, but it came with multiple different videos. So I was like, okay, how do I string all this together in a way that's, easy and simple for people maybe that could know how to use Canva, but not very good with video editing software, things like that. So I just want to show you some of what I've been doing. And for those of you that are going to be staying with me for the next session, after I disconnect, if you have a character that you want me to animate and we want to play around with, then let me know because we can use it as an example through here. So I started when I was going through it, I knew that I wanted to go into Midjourney and try this new functionality, but I'm not very good when it comes to coming up with these prompts on my own. So I went in here to my authorpreneur.ai. Now this is just built on ChatGPT. So if you've got your own ChatGPT, fine, you can use that or any other AI to just say. So what I did is I just said, I would like to create a video animation with Midjourney, act as a video/Midjourney expert, and help me come up with a prompt I can use on that tool. So then I just started talking about the prompt, right? So we want the AI to act as a specific thing, a Midjourney expert. So now it wants me to give it an example of what I'm looking for. So I'm going to say, let's see, I would like a video animation of a blue-footed booby named Bobby, who is the star of an upcoming children's book. He's not, but now people tell me that I have to write it because I've been playing around and using the blue-footed booby named Bobby in a number of my different test things. So I'm just going to say exactly what I want. And now my AI, because I've trained it to ask questions if it doesn't quite have everything that it needs, what's Bobby's personality or role in the story? I'm just going to say number one, Bobby is silly and falls a lot over his very big feet. Two, what kind of scene or setting should be for the animation? He is walking on the beach and trips over his big blue feet. So, okay. Number three, what style of animation or illustration do you envision? I'm going to say Disney Pixar style. And do you want him doing something specific? So I'm going to say walking, stumbling, and falling. Okay. What mood or emotion should the image convey? So laughter. I want Bobby to laugh at himself as well. Okay. So now I'm just going to hit submit. And now it comes up with this Midjourney prompt. So I'm going to just copy the prompt and go over to Midjourney. You do have to have a paid plan with this, but when I'm on my dashboard and clicking create, here's some of the stuff that I've created. We did something yesterday in my author group, and this is it's kind of a likeness of one of my authors. And she said she wanted to have herself reading to kids in this magical kind of a thing. So we created that prompt for her. I had one author who's writing about an alligator under the bed. So we did this and it animated that. We've got some things here, right? Look at that. That's so cool. You can also upload your own character. So, I thought this was funny. I put my own picture there and then I clicked animate. Now, isn't that amazing? Like this was nothing to do. So here we go. Here's just an image that it created. Once you create and it generates images and you find that you like this one. So there's a button here that says animate. You just click on it and it takes a few minutes or a minute or so to turn this into, come on, click animate. So then it throws it to the top of the queue. So here it's animating. I probably clicked too many times being impatient. So I have it animating multiple times, but this is where you'll start to see it taking things. And when you're pasting the prompt, so we're going to see what they do with a blue-footed booby named Bobby. So I'm pasting the prompt in that came from my chat GPT. I'm going to submit it. Now, this happens at times. Failed to submit. Style should be raw. So I'm just going to go back here and say error. Failed to submit. Style should be raw. So let's see. It's just going to give me an updated prompt. So now I can copy again, go back to here. So there's some setting that it didn't set correctly. Now I've submitted it and it's queuing the job. So while this is queuing, I'm going to hop over and show you what I created with the different prompts that I did. So I created multiple prompts. I wanted to show how what the 7 steps were for publishing a book. So I just dropped each one of the animations in into this here. I imported them into Canva, dropped them in one at a time. Then I laid on top the words, like what I wanted to say. And when you're creating a video in Canva or you're stringing things together, now I'll just click the play button over here and hopefully you can see I've added some music to it. I don't know if you can see the music, but we'll watch this and then I'll switch over and we'll take a look at some of what was generated on Midjourney. What do you guys think?
Fabulous.
So I was impressed with myself, and I'm not a video editor, but I was like, whoa, I did that I am a techie, but I'm not really great at visuals and designing visuals. So let's go back and check in on what's going on with Bobby the Booby. So this is kind of cool. I kind of like this. Let me see if I'm going to click on animate for that one. I'm going to come down here and click animate for that one too. So it generated these images. Oh, this is kind of cute. So let's see what happens with these. And then while it was generating this, it did, remember we animated this? So here it's got the teacher turning around. I didn't say how I wanted it animated, and maybe it might take a few tries to get what you're looking for, but this is just with one click. So you can imagine if you're a picture book writer or you have a cover and you just want it animated a little bit, or you have a picture of your character, you can upload your character here, and then see right here, instead of a prompt, you could just upload your character. Let's just say I'm going to take this. This is an image of a book cover, and it's one of my author's book covers. So it's going to do something there. It's uploading it. Now let's see what happened with these animations. Oh, they're still generating. But with this, I've already tried it once, and I was able to get this cat jumping on the other cat and animating this cover, which is kind of cute. All right, let's see what's going on with Bobby. So see, we gave it some instructions, and yeah, it's not going to be perfect, but kind of different, right? It's kind of cool to play around with these kinds of things to see what can you use on social media. This would certainly make people stop. I might say, meet Bobby the Booby. This is going to be, a sample of what he might look like in the upcoming children's book that's going to be released next year. Who knows? And over here, oh, this is still generating. I'll give it a minute. But yeah, think about all the different ways that you can use these things for your website. So look, here we got, this is jumping. Now, when I uploaded it here, if I would have said the orange cat jumps on the black cat, which is what I did the first time, it actually has him jumping on the cat. I think I have him down here. You can see I've been having some fun playing with all of the different things you can do. And I'm sure I have that cover down here. So you can see I generated all those images separately. Oh, here's one of the examples of one of my children's book authors has this image of the grandmother walking the dog. So I pulled this together and sent it to her just to play around and see how it would work. Let's see. Then I wanted to try and see if I could do something for a romance novel. Like what could we do to play around with that? So there's a lot you can do. And then to add a little bit of intrigue, as I was playing around with this, and then I ended up in my Google Drive doing something, looking for a document. Google had a notification that came up and said that they now just released a video animation tool. Would you like to try it? And I was like, yeah. And it did a really good job as well. I don't have time to go into it and show you that, but keep on the lookout. These things are great to use for your social media, just for playing around and catching attention, stopping the scroll for the things that you're doing. Oh, Debbie's giving me this little guy here. Okay. I'm going to download Debbie character. So we're going to go back up over here and upload. What do we want happening with this guy, Debbie? You're on mute. You'll just have to take yourself off mute. So maybe we want him waving his arms or something.
Yeah.
Whoops, choose a file. Let me go add it here. Okay, so I put him up here. I'm gonna say,
can he play the guitar?
Oh,
I don't know if that's something.
This character play the guitar. Well, let's see. I don't know. It's worth checking out, though. That would be cool. Let's see. I don't think because he doesn't have a guitar, maybe they can't really just like create one, but
Oh, yeah.
we'll see. We'll see. He'll play an imaginary guitar.
Yeah, air guitar.
But this is kind of cool, the stuff that you can do. Right now it's still working on it. Maybe they removed. Oh, look at that. Oh my gosh. Isn't that funny? So it's still working, but I can't believe that it just put the guitar in his hand, right? And you can imagine how this could be fun for people to go, oh my gosh, look at this. This is so cool. You're getting sneak peeks and character samples from your illustrator. Let people see and kind of follow along and go, oh man, I've got to follow her and see what goes on with this book. This is a lot of fun. She's sharing all these behind the scenes sneak peeks of things. It can be a great, now it's not, this one here looks a little odd, right? It's got this weird shaped guitar. So they're not all going to be perfect. Oh my gosh, look.
Okay, what's funny is in my first book, I introduced him and his name is Jimmy and his son is Hendrix and he teaches him how to play the guitar.
Oh, how funny. So I love it. And this is nothing, right? This is no time at all, but have fun with it. I know I went way over for what I was doing for my 8 o'clock session. So I'm going to say goodbye. I do hope you will check back in. Sorry, still struggling with that cough. Goodbye to those on YouTube. If you find value in what I'm doing here, subscribe to the YouTube channel. We are really close to 10,000. And that would mean a lot. And also just post your comments and let me know what you learned and what additional questions you have. I will follow up and answer questions later as well. So I'm going to disconnect, but those of us that are together here on Zoom, I'm going to keep going. So we'll stop. Goodbye, everybody.